Hey, I am the Greg, one of the hosts of the Greg and Dave Show. Thanks for listening to the following broadcast on Public House Media.
This is Sam Kirby, host of Cinema Stories here on Public House Media. Thank you for tuning into the following broadcast here on Public House Media. Once you're done with this episode, I hope you'll come check out my show, Cinema Stories, where we talk about movie and TV news and reviews, and maybe, just maybe, we'll learn a little something about ourselves. If not, then maybe I made you laugh a couple of times. I don't know. New episodes air bi-weekly on Tuesdays. Thanks again for checking out the totally spectacular following broadcast here on Public House Media.
Everyone, it is No Filter Friday on Public House Media. I'm having water because I just came back from Hawaii and it was a rough road, folks. I forgot how long that trip is. And then I had a photo shoot. It's just been absolutely nutty pants around here. But, you know, I get to keep my face from my shoot today. However, it is a little shiny for this light. But whatever, that's neither here nor there. Okay, so this is attempt number 2 for this week's No Filter Friday. Because I was in Hawaii yesterday, I tried to do like a pre-tape thing and have it upload at a certain time, and it didn't work. It came off not great, but it may be a blessing in disguise because the sound was not good. In my hotel room, you can't turn off the air conditioning, and if I were to do it outside, and you hear kids screaming and birds and waves and all that stuff, so it just wasn't working. So I tried to schedule a post for that video that had questionable audio, and it just didn't work out because I was like in a waterfall at the time that my phone needed the reception to like actually make that post happen. So here we are again for this week's No Filter Friday. We're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about Chris Hardwick and Comic-Con a little bit, and then we're going to talk about Kimberly Guilfoyle leaving Fox, and the water's becoming a little bit muddied. So that's what's on the agenda for this week's No Filter Friday. So let's get into it. But it's kind of fun because this is a pre-taped video and I'm not doing it live. I can show you the articles that I read you, and you can see them visually, not just me like being like, here's it on my phone. So, with that being said, let us start on Comic-Con. Okay, so if you listened to my Chris Hardwick episode a few weeks ago, when that story came out, AMC canceled him from The Walking Dead, and all of his Comic-Con involvement, appearances, whatever, were canceled. And then some things came to came to light, and people came to his defense, not only his wife, but other girls that he's dated, and a lot of people in the industry, and things have since calmed down. It was a really, really rough road for them, but I think they're getting to the other side of it, because right before Comic-Con, Lydia Hearst, Chris Hardwick's wife, was posting on Instagram about how she was going to Comic-Con. She works kind of in the same area, so she went to Comic-Con. She says by herself, I think Chris actually went. I wasn't there this year, which worked out for the best because one of our dearest friends in the world, unfortunately passed away, and he was scheduled, he's kind of a legend at Comic-Con too, and he was scheduled to be there, and really pretty much up until they announced that he was in critical condition, people still thought that they were going to do Comic-Con. And John was going to continue with his panels and all of the things that John does at Comic-Con, and that was not the case. So, shortly after that, we flew to Hawaii. Comic-Con is Wednesday's preview night, Thursday night, Friday night. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the end. We flew out on Monday to go to Hawaii. And it was good. It was a good way to get away from all of that. So, with that being said, I wasn't at Comic-Con this year, but I have a feeling Chris went with Lydia because I don't see them separating from that. I don't see him just sitting at home doing nothing. And she had posted on Instagram a couple times saying that she was planning her stuff at Comic-Con was certainly not canceled, and she was going to be there, and she was there. And I do think Chris went with her. I think they just may have skipped the carpet, which is a solid move considering the circumstances. So, anyway, while she was at Comic-Con, two things happened. Because Chris Hardwick is the host of The Talking Dead on AMC, he normally does that panel at Comic-Con. He was temporarily replaced as that Talking Dead host by Yvette Nicole Brown. And she put out a tweet or something on Instagram. But anyway, she, on her social media, said that she is not jockeying for that job, that she was filling in for a friend, and she's going to go back to doing all the jobs that she is already doing. So we know that Yvette Nicole Brown was a temporary replacement, and then AMC said that, considering the way that things have gone for the network's investigation into Chris and his, whatever abuse, misconduct allegations went, that they're going to be having him return to work soon. Which Lydia Hearst then echoed when interviewed on it, on the red carpet. During the panel, they said that one of the producers from The Walking Dead said something about it. But anyway, so this is Lydia's statement. She went to all the good parties. She went to the IMDb party, which is a party on the boat. She went to all of them, but she gave an interview with Variety in which she defended her husband, Chris Hardwick, amid allegations of sexual misconduct and emotional abuse. Chris is a longtime fixture at Comic-Con and was scheduled to moderate some panels, though he dropped out amid the allegation. Quote, I've known him to be nothing less than absolutely loving, compassionate, supportive, not just to myself, but to everyone he knows and works with, Lydia told Variety. He's a genuinely good man with a good heart. End quote. I think fans can expect to see him back on the air soon, and maybe, hopefully, back at Comic-Con next year, she added. So that was from Just Jared. I know the folks at Just Jared, so they're pretty trustworthy in my book. So I think Chris Hardwick's just laying low. Like, I don't think he really stayed home from Comic-Con. I think they just didn't. I just think he didn't do any press, and he maybe only went to parties that were parties on low-key parties on the DL. But that's some of the the Nerd HQ party at Comic-Con is the best party at Comic-Con in my opinion, and there's no carpet. Everybody just hangs out on the roof of the Children's Museum and eats pretzels and gets blitzed and has a good time, and it's all the biggest people there, so he could have easily gone to that, and there's no press there anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that is just my opinion. I have not asked either one of them about this, and I haven't seen Chris Hardwick in a while. So, with that being said, let's talk about Hardwick comic. I want to get you this specific quote from this producer. This is from Huffington Post, by Bill Bradley at Huffington Post. So, maybe not. Walking Dead executive producer David Alpert opened up about the Talking Dead host. Talking Dead host Chris Hardwick will return to AMC following internal investigations into sexual abuse following an internal investigation into sexual abuse allegations. The network announced, We take these matters very seriously, and given the information available to us after a very careful review, including interviews with numerous individuals, we believe returning Chris to work is the appropriate step in the network said in a statement on Wednesday. Other than its announcement, AMC has been mostly quiet on the subject of Hardwick. He wasn't mentioned at the network's press summit in June or during last week's Fear the Walking Dead and the Walking Dead panels and press conferences at San Diego Comic-Con. In fact, Hardwick was almost completely ignored by AMC and The Walking Dead at Comic-Con, save for one telling comment from executive producer David Alpert. In an interview at Comic-Con, HuffPost asked Alpert about Hardwick's absence, and he offered the Talking Dead host some support, saying, "I love Chris. He's a dear friend. I'm sad that this is happening, but we have to figure out what's going on, and I wish him all the best. I want him back. I miss Chris. I love Chris, so I hope everything sorts itself out." End quote. Albert's comments echo many other statements by celebrity friends and some of Hardwick's ex-girlfriends who have vouched for the Nerdist Industries founder in the wake of the allegations. The decision to bring Hardwick back was likely made before Comic-Con, prior to the Pop Culture Festival. HuffPost reached out for an interview with community star and Walking Dead superfan Yvette Nicole Brown, the interim Talking Dead host, scheduled to take over for Hardwick in his absence. Brown on 4th of July tweeted that she was just filling in for a friend and hoped that God's will is done. At the time, Brown's rep told us she was only set to host 2 episodes. Now she will only host the Walking Dead preview special on August 5th. Yeah, so Yvette Nicole Brown's tweet was, "I will say this once," this was from July 4th, "I will say this once, I'm filling in for a friend, which I have done before. I'm not jacking for a job. I have enough of my own. It is my prayer that God's will is done in the midst of this process and that everyone is okay. My character is known and sound. Nothing has changed." Wow, she sounded really, really upset. But you know what? Yvette Nicole Brown is good people. She is. I don't know her, but the people that she's friends with, like for real friends with, are some fantastic people. So I think her heart is in the right place, which is very good. So speaking of Huffington Post, who is on my Twitter? Knock this off. Oh, my jeweler, David. Okay, so Chris Hardwick will go back to work if he wasn't secretly at Comic-Con. That's just my opinion. So, also a HuffPost article, Kimberly Guilfoyle left Fox News to work on a Trump super PAC. That's not the news piece. The news piece here. Ooh, this came out 16 and 17 hours ago. See, this was a blessing in disguise. Alright, so this is what the Huffington Post put out 2 days ago. And it's the Huffington Post. And there's some things in here that they say. I've read this before when it came out. And it's questionable at best. Exclusive, Kimberly Guilfoyle left Fox News after investigations into misconduct allegations, sources say. Sources tell HuffPost that Guilfoyle, who is dating Donald Trump Jr., engaged in emotionally abusive behavior and showed colleagues personal photos of male genitalia. That's rough, because I show people pictures, like, all the dick pics that I find in my DMs, I show them to people, and we just laugh. It's one of my favorite games in the world. Like, guys send you this stuff, and they shouldn't, but they do, and there's nothing that you can do about it but laugh at it. So I show people and laugh at it, be like, "Oh, look at this! It's disgusting. It's all crooked." Like, it's one of my favorite games, hands down. Like, thirst trapping, making fun of dick pics, posting other people's memes. Like, that's all Instagram has going for it, truly. Anyway, when it was revealed last week that longtime Fox News host Kimberly Guilfoyle will be leaving the network, some Fox News and White House insiders were surprised that she was choosing to move on from the cable news channel and head to a pro-Donald Trump super PAC for nearly 2 years, even once rumors eventually kicked up that she might join the Trump administration. Guilfoyle said that as a single mother, she had to think of her son's financial future and couldn't afford to leave a high-paying gig. Multiple sources told HuffPost. I feel like she has plenty of money. But who are these multiple sources telling HuffPost? Who knows? Guilfoyle's departure was initially billed as her decision. However, as HuffPost first reported last week, multiple sources said she did not leave the network voluntarily. They said Guilfoyle was informed her time at Fox News was up following a human resources investigation into allegations of inappropriate behavior, including sexual misconduct, and that her lawyers had been involved since the spring. Sources also said that despite being told she would have to leave by July, Guilfoyle repeatedly attempted to delay her exit and tried to have her allies appeal to Rupert Murdoch, the executive chairman of 21st Century Fox, the parent company of Fox News, to let her stay at the network. Rupert Murdoch, if you don't know, already has his own problems. I don't know why she would be appealing to him. He's got enough of it. He has his own baggage. He's not fixing anybody. He can't fix his own problems. How is he supposed to fix anybody else's? The story is based on interviews conducted over the past year with 21 sources inside and outside Fox News and 21st Century Fox. Isn't it funny how there's two different 21s there? I don't believe in coincidences, and that goes double for Hollywood. All these are news people in New York, but still, they kind of fall under the umbrella. All sources spoke to HuffPost on the condition of anonymity because they aren't authorized to speak to the press, did not want to raise Guilfoyle's ire, or have signed non-disclosure agreements that prevent them from speaking to others about their experiences. Okay, so then that's not a story. This is a we heard whatever. If nobody's going to put their name to these words, then... And if nobody's accusing her of doing anything on their own merit, I don't see how this is a story. But okay, reach if you want to, HuffPost. It's the only leg you have to stand on. Guilfoyle announced Tuesday that she had left Fox News in response to an email with a list of 19 detailed questions. Guilfoyle's attorney, John Singer, wrote the following statement, quote, "Any accusations of Kimberly engaging in inappropriate workplace conduct are unequivocally baseless and have been viciously made by disgruntled and self-interested employees during her lengthy and decorated tenure with the company. Kimberly was beloved, well-respected, and supportive of anyone she ever met. It's utterly preposterous that there are those who are nefariously and greedily twisting innocent conversations amongst close friends into much more than what it actually was for financial gain. Kimberly has happily moved on to the next chapter of her life and hopes others will do the same." End quote. As a person who covers these types of stories, if I read the word unequivocally, baseless one more time, I'm going to throw up on this show. That's what's going to happen to me. I might have to have like a vomit disclaimer or something. I'm so sick of hearing that. Multiple sources told HuffPost that Guilfoyle's exit from Fox News, where she had worked since 2006, came after her alleged inappropriate workplace behavior could no longer be tolerated by the network. Vanity Fair, which broke the story about Guilfoyle leaving the network, and the Daily Beast, which reported that Fox News staff allegedly waged a hostile whisper campaign. I'm putting in air quotes because there's quotes in here. You'll see it later. Against Guilfoyle have said she crossed the line by using the network makeup artist for personal outings, but the accusations Guilfoyle faced were much more serious. What? Hang on, I gotta go back and read this. This is hilarious. Which reported that Fox News staff allegedly waged a hostile whisper campaign against Guilfoyle, have said she crossed the line by using network makeup artists for personal outings, but the accusations Guilfoyle faced were much more serious. Newsflash, kids. We all use hair, makeup, and wardrobe for our personal outings. It's just Look, I did it today. Do you think I took my makeup off that the makeup artist did today and redid it for this show? No, you wouldn't either, because it's stupid. It's a waste of time. Oh, we're reaching, HuffPost. We're reaching, and that's putting it gently. 6 sources said Guilfoyle's behavior included showing personal photographs of male genitalia to colleagues and were identifying whose genitalia they were. one of my favorite movies in the world is The Banger Sisters, and they have a rock cock collection because they were groupies, and that's the scene that's playing in my head. It's Goldie Hawn and Susan Sarandon on the floor with Polaroids of penises with names on the back, and they were trying to guess who it was. That's what this sounds like to me. Regularly discussing sexual matters at work and engaging in emotionally abusive behavior toward hair and makeup artists and support staff. According to sources, Guilfoyle was the subject of human resources investigation that started last year and involved interviews with Fox News employees, including hair and makeup artists and producers. Sources said HR warned Guilfoyle about her behavior several times, including a stern warning from Kevin Lord, the head of Fox News HR, in the fall of 2017. HuffPost also began investigating Guilfoyle's workplace conduct last year. Sources say 21st Century Fox prefers that problematic employees retire or resign rather than be terminated. The company has taken this approach with Fox News talent executives in the past, as well as with Guilfoyle, who was not formally terminated. This method gives the talent and executives a quieter way to exit the network, avoids a contentious departure. According to two sources, the network told Guilfoyle she had been given time to find a new job that she could announce before leaving. A spokesperson for Fox declined to comment for the story. In response to questions that last Friday about Guilfoyle's exit, the network issued a terse statement. Fox News has parted ways with Kimberly Guilfoyle. It declined to comment any further on her departure. Hours after HuffPost published its report that Guilfoyle's departure was not voluntary, her attorneys sent threatening legal notice to HuffPost and this reporter, claiming the story was false and defamatory and that the failure to retract it would constitute evidence of actual malice. Okay, this article is super long, and I will leave it somewhere. I will tweet it, perhaps. It's really long, and to be honest, it's really, really reaching. Like, yeah, I'm glad like, people are twats to, PAs and quote-unquote lesser departments. In my opinion, there is no lesser department. Film and television is a collaborative effort, and it takes all of us to, even kind of make something. I don't think there's I don't think there's such a thing as a lesser department, but people get nasty with people sometimes. But at the same time, though, like, I always say that the litmus tests for if your hair, makeup, wardrobe, if any crew member hates you as the on-camera person, you'll see it. Like, her eyeliner would have been over here and over here. She would have had hair coming out of wherever. Like, if the gaffers didn't like her, half of her face would have been dark. Like, there would have been a giant shadow on her forehead. Like, those types of things, like, you can see. Like, when I watch, not that I really watch film and television all that often, but, like, if I do see a show, or even in advertising, I'll be like, whoo, that person made their costumer mad. They look like garbage. Like, I can see it, in my opinion. So, I feel like if anybody actually has a problem with this chick, like, they need to come out and, like, say so, but we'll see if that ever happens. Like, lots of other people, like, NDAs are barely worth the paper that they're printed on, truly. Like, if any of these people really wanted to say something, I'd be like, this chick did this, and this chick did that, especially now that she's, like, tied to the Trumps. Like, the network would be like, whatever, this is not our problem. So long as they don't have to pay the legal fees, I don't care. But 16 hours ago, let's go to this statement. This came out, which I think is interesting. All right, let's see what the freshest one is. Raw story from 17 hours ago. Ousted Fox News personality Kimberly Guilfoyle fires back at network over sex accusations. Report. According to a report, the Daily Beast spokesperson for ousted Fox News celebrity Kimberly Guilfoyle are lashing out at the network over whispers that she was dropped, in part for sharing. My dogs are gonna bark now. In part for sharing what were hinted to be dick pics. They won't even spell dick. Look at this. We're living in a crazy world. Anonymous insiders at the network have hinted that Guilfoyle was showing personal photographs of male genitalia to colleagues. Yes, we've been over this. Blah, 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 blah. Accusations. Oh, gosh, we've read this too. Unequivocally baseless. According to the report, one unidentified Fox insider said the dick pics are not what is being implied, with others agreeing, saying that Guilfoyle was being harassed by what was described as a stalker. The former Fox host reportedly alerted Fox personnel and security about the photos as a protocol for messages that could be perceived as threat or harassment. According to the Beast, the handling of Guilfoyle's departure was handled badly by the network, with one anonymous source saying that Fox News really stepped in it. Ooh. Salacious and scandalous. So, we'll see. This came from pop culture. From Michael Haney, pop culture. We'll see where that goes. I have a feeling it's going to go all of nowhere if nobody will put their name to words. Like, nothing's going to happen. And she left. She's working on a super PAC. So, she's good, money-wise, obviously. Like, she's fine. So, although it is kind of interesting to see a story about a lady come out in the era of Me Too. I think it'll be the tip of the iceberg. Maybe some female executives will get thrown under the bus. We shall see. But I think what's interesting here is that, granted, only HuffPost covered the story because they're supposedly interviewing people anonymously. What I do think is interesting is that nobody has come to her defense and been like, oh, well, that's just the way things are. Like, if it was, like, a guy behaving that way, it would have been, 10 shades of opinions, but apparently nobody really cares about this, so I didn't even see anything running around on it. Like, one article got posted, and then once she fired back, per her attorneys, 2 articles got posted. Ooh, whoop-de-doo. So, that's probably the last we're going to see of her. But this Chris Hardwick situation, on the other hand, we're going to keep up on. But anyway, that was this week's No Filter Friday here on Public House Media. Thanks for coming in. If you're a podcast listener, thanks for being around. Give the podcast a star or a comment or a like or any of those things, or share it. Check out some other shows on the network. Some of them are nominated right now. Choose to Rise is nominated, and then there's another show that is nominated that the name is escaping me right now, but lots of good stuff on Public House Media. Not just me and my darkness and my late night Friday corner. So see you later, kids. Have a lovely evening.